Good evening, dear friends and neighbors across the land. This is Santa Claus with you on this September 19th, 2025, bringing the day's news with a warm heart and hopeful spirit. What a world of activity we have to share tonight. Presidents Trump and Xi are speaking by telephone at this very moment, discussing the future of TikTok and working to ease tensions between their nations. May their conversation bear fruit that benefits both countries and brings more peace to our global village. Meanwhile, concerning news emerges about discussions within our government regarding military strikes in Mexico earlier this year. The Drug Enforcement Administration had advocated for such actions, but thankfully, wiser heads at the White House and Pentagon expressed concern. Oh my, how important it is that we seek peaceful solutions when possible, even as we protect our children from the scourge of harmful substances. Now, turning our gaze to Europe, where the European Union has announced its 19th package of sanctions against Russia, hoping to curtail the funding for war in Ukraine. They're planning to phase out Russian natural gas purchases earlier than expected and are creatively exploring ways to use frozen Russian assets to help Ukraine through loans. We must remember the innocent families caught in this conflict, who simply wish for warm homes and safety for their little ones. In South Korea, the government is working to resolve visa issues for workers before executing a $350 billion investment package with the United States. A recent immigration raid resulted in many Korean workers being sent home from a Hyundai battery plant in Georgia. How important it is that we treat all workers with dignity and find compassionate solutions to these complex challenges. My goodness, what ingenuity emerges in times of conflict. Russian forces are now using empty gas pipelines to move troops and supplies, crawling through these underground passages to avoid drone detection near Kupyansk. While we must never celebrate the tools of war, we can marvel at human resourcefulness, even as we pray for the day when such ingenuity is used only for peaceful purposes. President Trump has expressed interest in regaining control of Bagram Air Base in Afghanistan, though Afghan officials have dismissed the need for any U.S. presence. May wisdom guide all decisions about military presence abroad, and may the Afghan people find the peace and stability they so desperately deserve after decades of suffering. In Iraq, citizens continue to struggle with chronic power shortages after U.S. pressure blocked a deal to import natural gas from Turkmenistan through Iran. I think of Hassan Saad, a 43-year-old butcher in Baghdad, trying to keep his meat from spoiling in the scorching heat. "This isn't just my suffering, it's the suffering of the entire Iraqi people," he said. Oh, how my heart aches for Hassan and all those who simply wish for reliable electricity to support their family. Meanwhile, a glimmer of hope shines in Syria, where President Ahmed al-Shara says a border agreement with Israel could come within days. After 13 years of devastating civil war, Syria seeks peace with its neighbors. What a blessing it would be if these talks bear fruit. In Germany, Parliament has approved the 2025 budget, allowing for record investments to revive the economy while increasing defense spending. This represents what Finance Minister Lars Klingbeil called a huge paradigm shift in German fiscal policy. May these investments bring prosperity to all Germans, especially those most in need. Concerning news from Estonia, where 3 Russian fighter aircraft entered its airspace without permission today, remaining for 12 minutes. This comes as Poland reports increased drone activity near its Belarus border. Poland has wisely turned to Ukraine for expertise in drone warfare after Russian drones entered Polish airspace last week. May cooler heads prevail in these tense border regions. And finally, a heartwarming story that brings a twinkle to my eye. In Austria, 3 elderly nuns of the canonesses of St. Augustine missed their former abbey home so much that former students helped them break back into the place they've loved for decades. Sisters Rita, Regina, and Bernadette simply wanted to return to the abbey where they had lived, prayed, and taught for nearly 60 years. Though there's dispute about whether they broke any laws, their determination to return home reminds us of the importance of community and belonging. As we close tonight, let us remember that in all these stories, from high-level diplomatic talks to elderly nuns seeking their home, we see our common humanity. We all desire peace, security, and a place to belong. May we extend kindness to one another, especially to those suffering from war, poverty, or displacement. Until tomorrow, this is Santa Claus wishing you a peaceful evening filled with love and goodwill toward all.